Your mind is not your enemy. It's a weapon you're too weak to use. That's why you're exhausted. That's why you can't commit. That's why you're still running in circles. Most men never realize this moment is happening right now. Here's the truth. You don't have a discipline problem. You have a fullness problem. Your mind is packed. Packed with noise, packed with worry, packed with the endless stream of thoughts that convince you that you're thinking, but you're actually just drowning. You think discipline is about pushing harder, grinding longer, forcing yourself into submission. It's not. You can't build anything on a crowded foundation. A construction site doesn't need more workers standing around. It needs space to work. The Stoics understood this centuries ago, and most men still don't. The question isn't, how do I get stronger? The question is, what needs to go? A full mind is already lost before it begins. Your desk is full, your email is full, your phone is full, your mind is full, and you wonder why you can't focus on what matters. Discipline doesn't come from willpower. Discipline comes from clarity, and clarity cannot exist in clutter. Marcus Aurelius didn't get stronger by adding more to his plate. He got stronger by removing what didn't serve Rome. Seneca didn't find peace by accumulating wisdom. He found it by eliminating distractions. This is the Stoic method: subtraction, not addition. Think about the last time you succeeded at something difficult. Not because you were motivated, not because you were talented. You succeeded because you had eliminated all other options. You were cornered, and that corner, that empty space where nothing else existed, that's where discipline lived. A soldier doesn't think about his kids, his doubts, or his mortgage the moment before battle. His mind is empty except for the objective. That emptiness is his superpower. When was the last time your mind was that empty? Discipline is what happens when you stop asking permission from your thoughts. Here's what you've been doing wrong. You're giving every thought the same power. The thought that says rest gets to negotiate with the thought that says work. The fear gets to argue with the commitment. You're running a democracy inside your mind, and a democracy cannot wage war. It can only beg. The Stoics didn't believe in fighting your thoughts. They believed in dismissing them. You don't negotiate with a soldier who isn't on your side. You remove him from the ranks. Epictetus taught that some things are in your control and some aren't. Your thoughts arising, not in your control. Your response to them, completely in your control. Most men confuse the two. You wake up. Your mind says, skip the workout. You're tired. That's not a negotiation. That's not something to think about deeply. That's static on the line. A warrior doesn't have an internal debate about whether to pick up his sword. He picks it up. The thought comes. He dismisses it. This isn't cruelty to yourself. It's authority over yourself. The guy who gets results isn't smarter. He's just less interested in his mind's excuses. How many times today did you give a weak thought the right to delay your commitment? An empty mind still needs a point. Without one, you collapse into drift. You can't just remove everything. That creates vacuum. Vacuum gets filled with garbage. Here's the Stoic solution. Anchor yourself to one thing, not many things. One, your role, your duty, your direction. Marcus Aurelius had the empire. Seneca had virtue. Epictetus had freedom. Not freedom to do what he wanted, but freedom to want what he could do. This isn't about blindness. It's about clarity. When you know what you're anchored to, everything else becomes noise automatically. You don't have to fight it. A father's anchor is his family, not his career, not his status, his family. The moment he wakes up, his mind isn't full of options. It's full of one question. What does my family need from me today? Watch what happens. His discipline doesn't feel forced, it feels inevitable. He doesn't struggle with distractions. They evaporate because they don't point toward his anchor. A man without an anchor? He has 1,000 options. And 1,000 options is the same as paralysis. What's your anchor? And be honest, do you actually have one, or are you still pretending you do? Every commitment you add is a piece of your freedom you trade away. Most men think freedom is in the accumulation. More opportunities, more achievements, more money. More freedom, they think, means more choices. It's backwards. More choices means less freedom. A Stoic understands freedom differently. Freedom is having nothing left to lose. Freedom is knowing exactly where you stand. The Stoics weren't about getting rid of possessions out of spite. They were about getting rid of dependencies. When your mind isn't dependent on outcomes, praise, or comfort, it's free. But that freedom requires subtraction. Seneca was wealthy, but he practiced poverty. He'd eat bread and water. He'd wear rough clothing, not out of guilt, out of discipline. Why? Because the moment comfort becomes your master, discipline vanishes. If you need comfort to function, you're not free. You're managed by your appetites. The man who can survive on nothing doesn't have to accept any bargain. He's dangerous in the best way. Discipline becomes automatic. What are you dependent on? Name it. What would happen to your discipline if it disappeared tomorrow? Emptiness is not the destination. It's the method. You don't empty your mind to stay empty. You empty it to fill it with what matters. The confusion stops here. A sculptor doesn't carve to create void. He carves away stone so that something can emerge. The emptiness is temporary, it's functional. The Stoic empties the mind of fear, desire, and distraction so that virtue can have room, so that the objective can have space, so that action can be pure. You sit down to write something important. Your mind is full. Notifications, worries, yesterday's arguments, nothing flows. You close the door, you turn off the phone, you sit in silence. For 5 minutes, you do nothing. Your mind settles, empties. Then you write. And the words come because there's no traffic, there's no fight, there's no noise. That's the return principle. You empty it temporarily to fill it with power. Most men never create this space. They think suffering through distraction is normal. It's not. It's just weakness disguised as busy. Here's what you do now. Not next week. Not when you're ready. Now. Choose one thing to remove from your life. Not forever necessarily. For this week. Could be your phone from the bedroom. Could be 1 hour of news. Could be one person who fills your head with their problems. Remove it. Watch what happens to your mind. Watch how it settles. Watch how clarity emerges. Watch how discipline stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a choice. Then decide, was that thing actually serving you? Most men won't do this. They'll watch this video and feel something, then walk back into the same patterns. The noise will pull them right back in. But you're here, you're reading this, so you're not most men, or you could be. The choice is yours. Empty your mind first, then fill it with what matters. That's how warriors are built. Not in gyms, not in books. In silence, in space, in the rooms they clear. The Stoics knew something modern men forgot. Your power doesn't come from adding more. It comes from removing what weakens you. So what's it going to be? Are you going to stay full, or are you going to fight for the empty space where strength lives? The decision is yours, and you'll make it in the next 5 minutes, either by acting or by walking away.